We've got an absolutely loaded Texas Tech football update video for you today here on the channel, including the Red Raiders officially signing a transfer portal defensive tackle, landing the commitment of a 2025 safety, not to mention on 3 in their final rankings of the 2024 class. Where do the Red Raiders come in, and where is Micah Hudson ranked nationally? Is it in the top 10? We'll discuss that, plus a look at the 2024 schedule release date for Big 12 football and Texas Tech. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxwell here for the Back to 12 podcast. And listen, before we get into today's video, I'm looking at the numbers last night. I look at them about once a month, and only 40.5% of the people that watch this very channel daily, I might add, subscribe. What are we doing? Not to mention only 4.5% of y'all have the notification bell on. If you want to stay in the know on everything Texas Tech football, everything Texas Tech men's basketball all year long on the most engaging Texas Tech YouTube channel, not to mention the most watched Texas Tech YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button and smash that notification bell so you can stay in the know instantly all year long right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel. All right, let's jump into the latest news as Texas Tech officially signed defensive tackle Rice transfer DeBraylon Carroll. Now, we've talked about him a couple of times here on the channel. He's a 6 foot, 290-pound tackle on the defensive side from Rice. And he had a great year last year, specifically his game down in Austin where he had 1.5 sacks against a top 5 Longhorn team at that point. Now, in all 13 games last year for the Owls down in Houston, he started at nose tackle all 13 games, and he was the Owls' highest-rated defensive player according to Pro Football Focus with an 80.7 grade. Some of his stats, as you can see down on the screen below, 46 tackles. He had 9 tackles for losses, 46 total yards on those, 3.5 sacks. Again, 1.5 of those came against the Longhorns. Pretty damn good competition. Total pressures, 31. Hurries, 20. And quarterback hits, 5. He will be part of that stable of DTs that Texas Tech has now put together after losing Hutchings and Bradford to, well, no more eligibility. It's hard to play when you don't have eligibility, right? So you got a stable of guys there. You're going to rotate guys in for specific situations, whether that's pass rush, maybe rundowns, whatever it may be. You got 4, 5, maybe even 6 guys if somebody emerges during spring and fall camp. But he is a solid addition with 1 year of eligibility left and allows guys that are younger that are going to have an elevated role to have a little bit less pressure on them, which is always nice if you are on that defensive line because you got to have a stable of them. All right. In the high school ranks, a 2025 safety committed to Texas Tech on Wednesday, January 23rd, and that is Wylie East safety Michael Henderson III. They call him Hollywood. That's a fun name right there. If your nickname is Hollywood, you got to be a baller, right? Like you got to be an absolute speedster, and Henderson is just that. He's 5'9", 185 pounds, a little bit smaller of a safety type that Texas Tech likes. I'm going to be interested to see where, if he does get on campus, where does Texas Tech go with him? Because he's played on both sides of the football. He actually had 750 total yards of offense for Wylie East as a sophomore and 13 total touchdowns. Currently, he's unranked right now, but you know how that goes with Texas Tech commits. They are on guys early that just seem inevitably to skyrocket in terms of the rankings. Perfect example, Will Hammond. Guy had no stars. Texas Tech gets him in his commitment, right? And he goes from 3-star to a high 4-star now. And we'll talk about him in just a second in terms of the 2024 class. But you look at what Henderson brings, speedy guy, can play multiple positions, play safety on the defensive side, where he had 2 picks, 35 total tackles, and 7 pass breakups as a sophomore. Pretty solid stuff right there, considering he's playing at Wylie, which is in one of the higher districts in the state of Texas. Now, he is the 9th overall commitment for the Red Raiders at the current time for the 2025 class. And right now, the Red Raiders have the 24th ranked national class for the class of 2025 in the 4th overall class in the Big 12, just behind UCF. Now, one more time, be sure to smash that subscribe button and smash that notification bell. Again, 40% of y'all are only subscribed. Only 40% that watch these videos on a daily basis. We got to get those numbers up, people. Let's see if we can get it to 50%. And the notification is only at 4.5%. Come on, let's at least get it up to around 7 so you can stay in the know on Texas Tech football and men's basketball all year long instantly. It'll go right to your phone. You don't even have to look it up. It'll go right to your phone with the notification so you can stay in the know on everything Texas Tech men's basketball and football all year long. All right, maybe one of the last times we talk about the entirety of the 2024 class for Texas Tech, which was one of the best in program history. We'll talk about where it ranked on 3 here in just a second. They released their final update for the 2024 class. And what that means is they went through each players, and that obviously had a domino effect in the team rankings. Now, the Red Raiders finished with the 21st ranked class in the country. It's one of the highest in program history. I believe in the really recruiting era dating back to the early days of 24/7, the highest Texas Tech has had was the 19th overall class, and I believe that was Tommy Tuberville. I tried not to throw up saying his name there, one of his classes while he was out in the 806. But this is great work from Joey McGuire and crew, 21st ranked class according to On3 for the class of 2024. 5-star wide receiver Micah Hudson officially finished as a top 10 overall player in the entire class, coming in right at number 10. Now, the Red Raiders as a whole landed 5 top 2 15 players. 5 top 2 15 players in this class. And I think the biggest thing, you look at this in terms of the class finish for the Red Raiders, it's number 1 in the Big 12. That's going to be interesting to see how this works, because you see the Colorados of the world, right, in the sense that they're more portal heavy. They're not as heavy in the high school ranks. But when they get high school guys, it's those high 5-stars on the offensive line like they did this year. But Texas Tech, they're kind of using the old school approach and using those connections that Joey McGuire and crew have at the high school ranks, specifically in the state of Texas. Every high school player in this class for Texas Tech is from the state of Texas. Think about that for a minute. That's crazy, right? You'd think one maybe from Louisiana, one from New Mexico, Oklahoma. Nope, they're all from Texas, okay? And it's a top 21 class nationally according to On3. Just unbelievable stuff, if you ask me, from Joey McGuire and crew. And we've talked about it quite a bit here on the channel, but really cool to see kind of its validity and also just, in its totality, the final number that you're going to see from this class, more than likely moving in to this year. And a lot of these guys are already on campus. A few of them will come in the summertime, but right now you've got a majority of these guys on campus, and that doesn't even include your recruiting class from a transfer portal perspective. This is just high school. So really cool stuff to see from Joey McGuire. Now, before we get into when potentially the Texas Tech football schedule for 2024 will be released, I want to hear from you guys. Just give me your one word to describe the Texas Tech football 2024 recruiting class. Just let me know. I think mine is probably unbelievable in the sense that some of these guys that they got were not ranked. And then now they're in that 4-star or high 3-star territory. And that's something that doesn't happen all the time around college football. Like, Texas Tech has a special group of people in the recruiting process, whether that's James Blanchard, Brian Nance, you got Pittman in there, as well as a couple other people as well. Like, they have a firm grip on Texas in terms of how to identify talent early, pinpoint them, go get them. And Texas Tech could pay huge dividends later on. All right. Before we get out of here, let's talk about when the 2024 Texas Tech football schedule release date is. This is according to The Athletic. They are reporting that all 2024 Big 12 football schedules will be released next Tuesday, January 30th. We will obviously have a video here out on the channel with instant reaction, and I'll give my early record prediction for Texas Tech after I see how the schedule lines out in terms of, you got to go to Arizona next year. You got to go to Oklahoma State. You got a lot of winnable games at home with the likes of Colorado, West Virginia coming in there as well. And that's not a shot at West Virginia. It's just, you got to handle business at home if you're Texas Tech. And we know how much better a team Texas Tech is at home compared to on the road in the Joey McGuire era. Maybe that changes in 2024. But right now, that's what we're going with. And I'll have early instant reaction to the schedule for Texas Tech and my way too early record prediction for the Red Raiders in 2024 on Tuesday, January 30th. Just another reason for you to subscribe and turn on those notification bells. Again, let's get that number up from 40.5%. What are we doing? We're on our way to 10K, people. We're not too far away from it. I don't think we'll get there on this video, obviously, but it's cool to see y'all interact with it, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all for subscribing. But let's boost those numbers up, specifically the notification bell, because I want y'all to stay in the know on everything Texas Tech men's basketball and Texas Tech football all year long, right here on the most engaging Texas Tech community on YouTube. Of course, I'm talking about the Back to 12 podcast channel.